what is the difference and what's more important between impact and intention? And Bubbles, feel free to, oh, I gotta set the box as well. Here.
Ooh, an ugly dude made it in the box on break. What's happening?
You made it in the box on break. Okay, so chill.
Yep,
What do you think is more
they're
important?
both important.
Impact or intent, and
They're
why?
both important, and that will vary on situation to situation. Here's what I mean. My impact
Okay.
in your life can hit differently when we're together, but is it my intention to be in your life for a long time? Okay, so that your intention can affect your impact.
So your impact on somebody's life
Hmm. Can be affected
will
by my
be
intention. Like if you're just a jump off, okay, you know what I'm saying, or somebody I could just pump on, okay, my impact on your life,
not pump on.
I can care less because you got one
Sure.
thing I want, I got one thing you want. It's a mutual exchange at that point. You feel me? Now,
Do you think that that sounds like they're tied together directly?
to a certain extent, there is because they
Okay.
like I was saying, your impact on somebody's life can be varied by the intention. Like you can come into a situation. I use me and you for example. You can come into a situation with me and then be like, "Hey,
Oh, thank you. Hold on.
uh,
Let me see. I think that is. She said you're muffled.
got a mobile. Let me see that. Let me see that. Okay, so for me, the impact to be like, hey, this is a genuine friendship, and I just want to keep the friendship going. Right? Is your intention?
Okay.
Right? So the impact in my life will be differently than if you were talking to me as if we wanted a relationship. That impact hits different because that means you want to be around for a while, and that means you actually care about my well being at a different level. That makes sense?
It does make sense. It sounds, but what I heard was, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, everybody, by the way, is welcome to rotate in the box. I would love to hear what you have to think on the subject. What we're trying to do is create a dialogue. So feel free to hop in and out. Secondly, hopefully he sounded better once I fixed my own sound issues. All that said, what I heard was that that impact is directly correlated to intention.
Mhm.
Like that's what I heard. Like,
No, I agree. Okay, so uh, a story today. Have you ever watched the movie Riding in Cars with Boys with Drew Barrymore?
no.
Okay, so it's me and my mom's favorite movie. We used to watch it all the time when I was growing up. Other day, it's basically about a young mom that became pregnant and was doing everything in her power to make it out of this life that she was predestined to by becoming pregnant with this young child, and kind of forgetting about said person. So anyway, mom called me today and was like, I watched Riding with Cars with Boys today, and I just never wanted you to feel like, you weren't wanted. So when I say impact over intention, even in those situations to where you have the best intentions to be the best mom or the best person you can be for your children, um, maybe you don't understand the impact that it had on your children until,
Later
yeah.
on, later on.
So,
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily correlate equally, is what you
right.
say.
That's just one example of intentions can be the best, but you don't necessarily understand how it impacts people until you have experiences and things that go on in their life.
Yeah.
Maybe I wasn't doing my best, or maybe I was acting in a way that impacted someone in a way that I didn't want them to. Or
And that goes right into what New York says right here. He said, shouldn't we want to impact everyone we encounter positively?
that doesn't
And
always happen.
it doesn't
Sometimes
always
it's negative.
happen, but The should, right. You don't control how it's perceived, right? Um, because should, first of all, should is a dangerous
Mm-hmm.
word. Um, I personally, and people who've been in here have definitely heard me say it. I find that should can get messy because you can only really define your own should. And once you start defining a broad should, it's not only outside of your control, but sometimes even as it relates to yourself, you are indicting yourself for shit that, you know what I mean? You don't have to. It just
Outside of your
happened that way.
control.
Right. Or it just happened that way. You didn't know better yet type shit. You know what I mean? Maybe now you should because you know better. When you know better, you do better. So, but I'm not picking on you because yeah, it would be nice if everybody wanted to encounter and wanted to impact everybody positively, regardless. Is that practical though?
Mm-mm.
Nah, because like he said, you don't control how somebody will perceive or take in your action. There's things that are that come into play there. Their experiences, their traumas, their sometimes this is the thing that I was I kind of did at one point is like if I said to you, if I said bubbles,
Mm-hmm.
if I said bubbles, take out the trash. Or if I said bubbles, take out the trash, I might just want the trash taken out. My intention is to get the trash taken out, but one is going to impact you differently. You know what I
But then
mean?
I also feel like
So it's
that's a slippery slope because I get that all the time. It's your tone. It's your tone. I don't know how to fix my tone. Like, how the fuck do I fix my tone? I can say
well, because this is my point
say
because it's so many things that are played in their experiences, your delivery. Maybe a mood, maybe whether somebody ate, maybe their own trauma, maybe somebody did something to them. So many
okay, well
things impact or
that's gonna
somebody
change my answer, but I'm gonna
consider
let somebody
it's gonna change your answer.
yeah.
Right?
Because
No, just come back
that's
in.
okay.
Anybody is welcome to jump in line. But I'm trying this format. We'll see if it works out. If it doesn't, we'll go back to the format from previous weeks. But um let me see. Ash said people can help you navigate your intentions if you communicate with them. That's a great point too, because if and I don't think they can help you navigate your intentions though. I, I think you meant impact there. Because people can help you navigate your impact. Your intentions are your intentions, in my opinion. I don't know.
The reason that what you described is gonna make me change my answer is because I get tone police so much, even in my own household. And I ask for stuff to be done in a certain way. That's not good enough. So I ask to be done in a way that I'm used to. That's also passive aggressive. So I'm like, okay, so maybe let me take a step back. How am I getting across to where it's impacting people in a negative way? But even if I try to change it, it don't matter because people are going to see negativity how they see negativity no matter how I uh try to come across. That's
A
their
thousand percent.
perception.
Because impact is what is received. You can influence it, but you can't
Right.
control it.
And I can't control the way that I talk. And then there's a certain type of point that it becomes, okay, maybe I can receive this feedback. I could take this feedback and, try to um, change the way I have certain deliveries or the way that I talk to certain people. But when I try to change that and it still doesn't necessarily change the impact, then what am I supposed to do?
I think that takes communication, like what Ash was talking about. I think that's a constant communication battle. I think you definitely and this is where okay, this brings us right to my first question. Oh wait, let me read this comment first. We can definitely control how we talk to people, especially if we see that multiple people are experiencing us in an
That's
unfavorable
true.
way. So there is some level of control that you have in turn or influence that you have in your delivery. Now, sometimes you got to tweak it this way, and your experience was I tweak it and they don't like it, then I tweak it again and they don't like
How
it.
many times am I supposed to
That's
tweak
a
shit until I become
motherfucking
right?
tweak is in my
Until
do
I
it. I mean, maybe you tweak it till you're blue in the face. Maybe at some point you draw the line and say, "I ain't tweaking this shit." You're gonna have to take it how you take it. That's on a case by case basis, individual by individual,
But I understand what Ash is
type thing.
saying, because I mean, there's definitely a way. I think with black people is code switching. Even when you go into code switching, you are tweaking, you are controlling the way that you talk to people so that it seems in a favorable way, so that you don't come across as, something that you don't necessarily want to come across as. That's why we
Ooh, thank you for my hands. Thank you for my hands.
act the way that we do in corporate settings, because we know that there is a
We know that delivery makes a difference. Okay, and actually, you know what? That brings us to our first question of the night outside of the overall topic, how important or what's more important, impact or intent. Our first sub question is, how important is it to validate misaligned impact? So, by that, I mean, again, feel free to jump in the box if you have something to add. By that, I mean, if your intention is not aligned with what impact you made,
mm,
how important is it to address that, to validate the impact? And whose
more often than
responsibility
not,
is the person who's impacted?
or the one who's doing the impacting.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, you can talk to your boss respectfully, and then you can talk to everyone that you know respectfully in a certain time. I agree with you. There was it was Nikki Giovanni. I think I've had you listen to that, where she was talking about um, the way the men go out in the world and talk to their boss, and then the way they come home and talk to their wives. And it's like a different type of, it is varies in such a huge way, to where it's very noticeable, and that's very impactful, because people do notice that. Like, why can you go out and talk to these people a certain way and not talk to me like that?
And to add to that, by the way, the box is set to 5 minutes because I'm going to be interjecting. So don't feel like you have to talk the whole time you're up there. Is This is exactly why I have it set for 5 minutes. But this is there. This is why in intimate relationships, um, oftentimes your intimate partner gets the least. There was a study. I don't know if anybody's reference to warm fuzzy, what a warm fuzzy is. The happy babies, they did a study of babies, and the babies that had something warm and fuzzy in their crib tend to cry less. It's super long time ago. So the saying is, when you get, you get a warm fuzzy from something, you get something that is soothing. People in their intimate relationships have their intimate partners get the worst of you. They get the least warm and fuzzy piece of you. And the question is that the most authentic? But um, we're in the biggest impact when shit in your relationship ain't going right. Your whole life upside down, more so than anything else. What's up, Ash? Thank you for pop blessing my box.
Hi, what's up, everybody? I'm Ash, and I just wanted to explain myself on my previous point. But first, Fee, congratulations on your show. This is super cute. Okay, so, anyways,
Thank you, thank
um,
you.
so what I was saying earlier is that, like, communication is key. And so when you let someone know, like, your intention that you have, like, as it relates to them, if it directly affects them, like, communicating that to that person in a very clear way. Well, sometimes, if people are just like, you know what, let's go. Like, okay, I get it. Okay. And so when they see you trying to execute those intentions, right? They can kind of help you and be like, oh, okay, I can see that this is the goal here. Two heads work better than one sometimes. Or, okay, so you can ask the person just like, okay, Like, what did you hope to get from this action or whatever, you know? And so they can kind of actually help you and guide you along. But communicating your intention is just very important to fruitful relationships. And the impact that comes from you communicating that to said person is like a byproduct of the action. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about them
Hell
so
yeah.
much helping you with the impact because they're helping you with the road to
The
the impact,
relationship.
you know?
Yeah, like, because at the end of the day, if you're really trying to make a connection with somebody,
Mhm.
and Bubbles, just stay in line. But if you're really trying to make a connection with somebody, um, the goal is that connection. And so when they're helping you impact them the way that is beneficial to the relationship, it becomes by consequence beneficial to you as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because love is not selfless. Like love is actually extremely selfish because of how it makes us feel. It's very like us centered a lot of times. Like, when you're loving somebody, you like the way that when you love on them, it makes them feel good. So it makes you feel good. So therefore, it's feelings that boomerang back to you that are fulfilling. And so in that way, love can be selfish and it's a beautiful thing. Like, selfish has like a bad connotation attached to it, but sometimes selfishness is just really fucking beautiful. And that's all I had to say.
But you know what? On the selfish note, I would say that, or selfish people, it does have a negative connotation. I had a whole thought on whether or not I was going to do I covered it in self care a little bit, but I people, there's a negative connotation associated with selfish, but I have a new word that we can all start circulating. Um, and I heard it, I didn't coin it, but it's self full. So we can replace the positive version of selfish with self full, because that's how
Mm.
it is anyway. If you haven't poured into yourself enough, then you don't have anything to give, right? You say empty cup can't pour shit.
Uh-huh.
Once you're full, that overflow, that's what you give to other people. Self full. So,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Um,
That's
it's
beautiful. I've
I
never
read
done
this.
that.
I Yeah, it says self full. Let's circulate it. Much like we're not gonna talk about Black history no more, y'all. We're gonna talk about Black futures. And in the conversation about
Yes.
the Black future, we will visit Black history because it's important to know where we were, to know where we're going. But we're not gonna focus on the history. We're not gonna stay there. We're gonna focus on our future so that we can grow as a people. But there's a couple little minor language differences that change mindset. Let me read antics real quick.
Yeah, I
It's
was gonna say.
important for the one who's impacting to exhibit empathy towards others due to their actions. It's a sign of not being a narcissist. Um, it's funny because I have this little thing in my show where at periodic times when the bell rings and we're a little bit out, I give a fee phenomenal reminder. And I just feel like this is the right time to give one. Um, because that both Ash's comment and New York's comment both speak to this. The only way to know a person's intention is to ask
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
The only way to let a person know their impact is to tell them. You have to communicate.
yeah. I think it's important to communicate, but going to Antic's comment, is important to
Mm.
the. I feel like it is important to the one impacting, but it's also important to the one that is being impacted. I don't know. It kind of seems like that could kind of be a power struggle in a way, to where both
Ooh,
both uh ends have to understand each other.
thank you,
Like you
Thor.
have to understand how, um okay, what am I trying to say? So if there is a situation,
Comprehension and understanding is even more. Yeah, true. If you're not speaking the same
if
language,
there's a situation, and I don't know if you were going to bring this up, but fuck buddy situations basically.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, no, that didn't make it on the
Okay, so
list
I'll bring
actually.
it up. So fuck buddy situation.
All right, you bring it up
Okay, so
then.
fuck buddy situation. So if I'm said fuck buddy, or if we got into a
But it's funny you should say that because we are at 6:20, which means we are on our second question. We wasn't going to use this question, but we're going to use it now. Go ahead,
so
Bubbles.
if I was in a fuck buddy situation and I'm the one that didn't catch feelings, but said fuck buddy did catch feelings, so I'm impacting her with or him, whatever. I'm a I'm a little bit anyway.
Go ahead.
But I'm impacting said person in a way that where they're catching feelings and they express that to me. At what point in me expressing that I have those type of feelings? Because I feel like if you're in a fuck buddy situation, for the most part, you should make it upfront from the start. That
True, and usually the fuck buddy situation is upfront from the start. So I'm going to reframe the question a little bit because I want everyone to kind of chime in on this. The question is, blocking for 72 hours is not enough. I don't know. I
like
don't know what kind of stalkers you got,
a
but my stalkers need a year and a
year and a
half.
half. God damn. I was gonna say 3 months.
All right. Nah, hell, 3 months ain't gonna do either. But but the question really is, in a fuck buddy situation, you've established a fuck buddy situation or friends with benefits, however you want to call it. Whose moral responsibility is it to end it when somebody
Oh well,
catches
the moral
feelings?
responsibility is the person that doesn't have the feelings. Definitely. Yes,
Really?
definitely.
Okay, I'm gonna wait for everybody else to chime in because I have a opinion on this one my own self. Feel free to jump in the box. By the way, you do not have to talk for the whole 5 minutes. I will be also interjecting.
It's definitely
The genitalia of the two people, the
yeah.
one
The
who
the
wants
one
it ended.
the one who does not have feelings. I feel like
Okay, so I'll just tell y'all. I personally believe it's the person who catches feelings. Exactly. See, that's my opinion. I agree with Antics because moral responsibility. I'm not talking because realistically speaking, if I didn't catch feelings, I'm still ending it. If I know you caught
right.
feelings, I'm still ending it because of my peace of mind. But the question is, whose moral responsibility is it?
It's the
We've
reason it's the person that catches feeling or that doesn't have the feelings is because you are seeing things from not a clouded state. You are not in this cloudy state of disillusion that this person that has caught feelings has.
by the way, this is on the levity side of things. So I see. What do you think, Chill?
I'm back. Okay, so boom. I say it's on the I'm gonna touch on a couple things. There's a couple things I want to respond to. I First of all, I'd say it's the person who has feelings, okay? Because you know your heart is into this and the other person's not. And you are choosing to make the decision that
Oh, my bad, Antics. I didn't never click on you. Thank
to
you for telling me.
continue doing what you wanted to do. I have had situations where I was upfront and said, I don't have any feelings, but if we want to kick it and touch on each other's no square, okay, cool, fuck with your boy, all right? But if you're gonna be catching feelings, you can't get mad if you see me outside with another chick, all right? Like, okay.
Don't get
And
upset.
then two, as in for communication, people also have to learn to communicate people at their level because you might be at a higher emotional level of intelligence to the other person. So you can't talk to that person from a healed space if they're not healed.
Higher emotional intelligence is a crazy. That's the first time I've asked that question so many times, and it's one of the things. I think it's kind of what Bubbles. I was almost calling her real name. What Bubbles was saying, but in a different way. I never heard it put quite like that. That's a good point.
I've been doing some
Yeah.
healing myself. Okay, trying to be less,
Okay.
trying to
Okay.
be
Good.
less
Good for you. Good
toxic.
for
You know
you.
what I'm saying? But a little bit toxic though. You feel me? But
It goes back to comprehension and understanding. Hell yeah,
you,
right.
the biggest mistake we can all make is assuming everybody has the same level of common sense as we have. Because what's common for me might not be common for y'all. All right. Because like nature versus nurture, like if you grew up in an environment where it was completely toxic, that becomes your norm. So what's normal for you might not be normal for somebody else. Or the fact of how you handle your relationship and how you communicate with people might be normal for you, but not for everybody else. So you have to continually check each other's level and when you communicate and making sure that when
Uh-oh.
you are intentionally communicating with people that you are making sure your delivery is landing. Okay, because I'm gonna give a quote.
What? Which is what? Which is what? Both
Both,
that you can only set your intention and control the things that are within your control. Not to go back, but I want to. I'm driving home the point that like some things are within your control in terms of impact. Not everything.
but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna sprinkle something my ex-wife told me, and it stuck with me. She was like, "I can't
Mhm.
control how you receive the message. The best thing I can do is control how I deliver it." Okay, but at the end of the day, I said what I said.
At the end of the day, I said what I
That
said.
part.
I said what I said, and that's why, personally, I think it is the person again, because of comprehension and understanding, emotional intelligence, I'm still gonna end shit. If we've had an arrangement and you now tell me you have, your caught feelings or I even see it, you know what I mean? Let's say I see it. You didn't even tell me. As a matter of fact, nine times out of ten in that situation, even if they told you they caught feelings and you did it wasn't just something you saw, that person then is like, and you're like, nah, well, I'm not in it. That person's then like, well, I didn't mean that. We can still
That's
be
another relationship
casual.
because in my experience, let me take ownership statement. In my experience and what I've seen and what I've heard, females will do that more often than men because they're like, if I wait long enough or I put myself
If I
in a
wait,
certain
they'll see my worth, they'll see my
right,
value. And then whose intentions, right? Whose intentions are not aligning with their actual actions is not the person who said, yes, I want a fuck buddy situation or I want something casual and I'm not interested in a relationship. Their intentions are aligning with their action. The person who is waiting around for you to change your mind, they're misaligned in that scenario.
and then the person who kept it a being off top is made to look like an asshole. I'm like, if I told you I was going to show my ass before you got here, and now you get here, and I'm out here showing my ass, why is you mad?
The Yo, why is you mad? It's the one building the fairy tale in their mind.
Okay.
Go ahead. I know
So
you look, she
yeah,
said I got
I'm
something to
like,
say. Go ahead.
so
Go
I
ahead.
disagree wholeheartedly because
Wholeheartedly, you
no,
all.
seriously, because I feel like
By the way, thank you for the
first
hearts.
of all, I feel like many people talk out of their ass. They want things that don't necessarily align with what they are doing. Insofar as you tell me you want a fuck buddy relationship, but you ain't acting like a fuck buddy relationship. And then when I tell you I caught feelings, okay, that's why I say it is the responsibility of the person that says,
Chill stupid, bro.
no, it's not. It's the responsibility of the person that says that they don't want to have feelings with said person to cut it off. Because if that's true and that's how you stand, don't entertain it no
I,
more.
yeah, but what
Entertain it
if,
no more.
listen, devil's advocate, and then we'll move. Wait, no, we got a couple minutes. I can go over a little bit. Um, Devil's
Mm-hmm.
advocate, if believe people when they tell you who they are. Exactly. If that person says, I got feelings, and I say, well, listen, I don't, and I still want casual. I'm not ready for anything else. And they say to me, Well, you know what? You're right. I'm cool. I think we can
But
stay
for the
casual.
most part,
Is it? But why is it my?
okay.
Hold on. Why is it my responsibility to then
Because
police or navigate through their
I feel
emotion?
like
I'm
people
going to because I'm
are
not dealing
I
with
feel
them.
like people are playing obtuse when if somebody comes to you and they say I got feelings for you and you like, yeah,
That part, you.
I don't really feel the same way. You like, and the other person's like, nah, you right. I don't really feel the same. That's some bullshit. And you should have,
Might be bullshit, but it's not my responsibility to see through their lies. They lying
but
to
you know
themselves.
they lying to
So
themselves
what? They know they lying. Why is it more my responsibility to know that they are lying than their
because you
responsibility
know
to
they
know
are
that they are
lying
lying?
to themselves. You know if somebody comes out of their face.
But did I lie?
No,
Thank you, Chill. But did I lie?
no. But if you know that person came out of their face and said, "I have feelings for you," and then when you flip the script, they just like, "Nah, you right." Like that ain't gonna turn into nothing but some mess.
Hold
9
on. Because what
times
I
out of
think you're
10.
missing here. Wait, Pop. I think what you're missing is moral responsibility. Is it my responsibility to myself to end shit with this person who was lying? Yes. Because I don't need that
And
bullshit.
it's
But is it my moral responsibility to see through their lies and help hurt save their feelings? Absolutely not. They the one lying.
okay. But why would okay? My thing is, why wouldn't it be your moral responsibility? Because you know
Because I'm not lying. I'm
that
telling the truth. I'm being on the up and up. I'm living in my authenticity. If I'm persistent about it, we are adults. If you can't communicate your wants and needs and be true to your own self, how is it my responsibility to be true to yourself and you ain't true to
no,
yourself?
I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm just saying you already like it, as an adult, you
Also,
already know
I just read
you
yours,
already
Chill.
know the mess
They know what it
that's
is.
gonna
It's up
bring.
to you to stay
It's gonna
on.
bring some
They
mess.
know what it is. Yep. It's up to you to stay. Friends are they know what it is because people
So
switch up
you gonna stay
when
in this mess when this
I'm
person
not
already
staying.
told you they
No,
have feelings for you,
I'm
and you
not.
gonna stay in this.
I'm definitely not staying. The reason I'm not staying though is not because it's my moral responsibility. The reason I'm not staying is because I don't want the headache that comes with the inevitable realization of their lie. But I'm definitely not staying. I'm hitting the road. If we had an agreement and uh 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 even if I see it, let's say they didn't even mention it. Even if I see it, I'm out. Now, granted, here's the problem, y'all. That's Windows is busted. You hear me?
That's how people get in these.
Car
That's
scratched
how
up.
people get in these situations. You just
No, then not me because I'm leaving. Not because it's the more. It's not because I'm morally, it's my moral responsibility, but because I don't want them
so
problems.
why?
You've changed the rules without my permission. Oh, antics, clips, because my
That's true.
intentions were
You're
clearly
right.
stated and you agreed with them. Now, it's not
Okay,
my fault that my head is so good, I impacted you in that way. It's not my fault that when I bent you over the rail, you felt that impact and you was like, no. It's not my fault.
wasn't this person doing their due diligence when once feelings came up, they said, "Hey, this is how I feel."
Not if they came back and not if they retracted it. They wasn't doing their
Okay,
due
but what if
diligence
they
if they
don't
retracted it.
retract it?
I
Then
think
that
if
becomes the
they
moral
said,
responsibility of the person that doesn't have feelings.
I still think it's theirs, but that becomes a little fuzzier.
Because what if they
I
don't
agree with you
retract?
that's
What
about
if they're
50-50.
like, no, this is how I feel.
I still have feelings with you. But if they say, okay, and then we're moving to the next question because I swear
Okay.
we can stay on this the whole thing. But
Mm,
um, if they say, I have feelings,
mm-hmm.
let's say I said, I'm gonna flip it around this time. Let's say it's a fuck buddy situation, and I was like, you know what, I'm starting to feel some kind of way, and I don't know how to handle this. And they were like, you know what, I I really just ain't ready for nothing. And I'm like, but I know how I feel. And they're like, well, I still just want to smash.
Does
Actually,
that not become their moral responsibility?
no,
Really?
no, it's mine. I'm a grown ass woman. If they tell me I want to smash, and I still smash, even though I know I have feelings. I'm real. Yes, I should walk away. I need to. What do? I love myself or not?
Well, you should walk away if you're the person that said you have feelings with somebody and they were like, you know.
Yeah, I'm still just trying to smash. No, it's not their response. They keep telling me they just
You
want to
said
smash.
you
If
know
I
how many
keep
block
coming
lists
back to
I'm on.
smash,
You know how many people I done blocked. I'm just playing. I haven't blocked them for relationship reasons. But I do block people.
y'all want depth or levity right now.
I do block people on the drop of the dime. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, man, it's good to block folks. I think blocking folks is important. Keep them motherfuckers blocked.
And even with that, even with social media, and I'll kind of pivot just a little bit, and we'll go on to the next question. But
Yeah, yeah,
like, to me, my moral responsibility, if I don't fuck with what people are saying on social media, my moral responsibility is to block them. They ain't got to block me, and I ain't got to watch whatever the fuck they saying, because I should do
right.
that. You're right, to protect my peace. So I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But
Okay, I
I
appreciate it.
still disagree somewhat with everybody
Well,
in
listen,
there.
with everybody. Well, listen, as I said at the beginning, everybody ain't gonna
Right.
agree. With everybody, take what's meant for you and leave what ain't. You know what I mean? But as an adult, we are responsible for our own selves.
True. But I mean, that's why you got so many children without fathers, because they,
And listen, that falls into something else because I said adult. Once you bring children into it, that's a
well,
whole
but
nother
that's what I'm
discussion.
saying. That's how the babies be
Yeah.
getting made, because you are, it's blurred
And,
lines. It's
and I
blurred
think
lines.
and in those cases, but see, sometimes, listen, it
You
depends
ain't
on the
mean
situation
to
because
keep
I've also known
ugly,
some.
Mr. No Chill. You are not mean to be ugly.
Because I mean,
So,
he's so
first of
silly.
all,
But how can someone else love you if you don't love yourself enough to hold yourself to a standard? How do you expect that other person to I agree with you, antics. Okay. So now we're gonna go. That was, by the way, on the levity side of
was
the
it
house.
levity?
That, believe it or not, was levity.
Okay.
But okay, let's do another levity just cause. All right. Um what movie did you see at a way too young age?
I could name many of them. Uh,
Give me a couple.
Players Club.
And that's for everybody. You can type it in the chat.
Players Club.
You said what?
Girl,
You saw
ooh.
play
Players Club? Oh, yes. I saw Players Club.
Deliverance. Oh my God, really? It's wild. And Players Club is better than Deliverance, to be honest with you, by far. Mine was Exorcist. I was very, very young when I saw Exorcist.
I was in my teens when I saw Exorcist. I saw Players Club, Waiting to Exhale. I was definitely too young to be watching that.
Really? Wait, the exhale ain't that bad. What's going on? What's wrong with that
I
one?
mean, there's a lot of adult themes in that. I mean, we talking cheating, divorce, soul food,
Okay, but
soul
this
food.
Deliverance, I think, didn't they like fuck a pig or something in that one? Ask me, baby. What's up? Ask me. Thank you for joining. Welcome to my shit. Today's topic is impact versus intent. Which one is more important? And our current sub question is, what movie did you see at way too young of an age? By the way, for those that are just joining or have joined in the last little few minutes, I just want to point out that this is Depth and Levity. Is every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Ask me,
Eastern
baby.
Standard Time. And the goal, hey, ask me. And the goal here is to fuse deep conversation with funny banter using curated questions.
So I'm
So
gonna bring one.
the question right now
Oh,
is,
I'm gonna bring one out.
okay,
What movie should I not have been watching? Soul Food. First of all, there are lots
hmm,
of deep
that's a good one, New York.
adult themes in there that you cannot understand as a child.
Wait, what was your movie again,
Soul
Bubbles?
Food.
Oh, I don't even know if I've seen that
What?
shit.
You talk about
I
I got to take my black card away. Give me your motherfucking black card. You ain't seen Soul
tried to take
Food?
your black card. I tried to
Oh,
see. Oh, thank you,
oh.
Ash. Woo! And the co-signer.
You ain't seen
Loan
Soul
approved.
Food? Big Mama got her
Color
leg chopped
purple.
off.
Okay, was that a Tyler Perry movie?
Okay, hold on. I feel like I'm in a whole different universe. We talk about soul food, right? You compare soul food to a Tyler Perry movie?
I don't know what movie this. I didn't see
Soul
it. What the
Food with
fuck?
Nia Long, Vanessa Williams, fucking
You
Mackay
see?
Pfeiffer.
You hear him?
Yes, it was the cooking
Was it a
movie.
cooking movie?
There
Was it
was
a
a
cooking
fox.
movie?
Big Mama got her leg
Was
chopped
it?
off from the diabetes.
You know what was a good movie? Boomerang. Oh, no, what was the one with Eddie Murphy when he was on? Okay, now
Yeah,
look what I
I
just
really
did.
don't want to talk to you no more after see. You haven't seen Soul
Yeah,
Food?
okay. You know what that means? You know what that means? Next question. Next question.
I really can't.
What has somebody? This is on the deep side, right? We're going depth now. Scarface is a good one. I
I've
saw that
never
too young
seen
too.
Scarface.
Yeah, it's a good one. Oh, Friday. Listen, which one? No, it's Nightmare on Elm Street. That's the one with Freddy. Is that the one?
Yeah, with Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger. Listen, to this day, I do not fuck with Freddy. And if I go to a Halloween party and somebody's dressed up as Freddy, I'm not fucking with them neither. I don't fuck with Freddy. It's something about I'm still scared of
You
that
know what?
motherfucker. I'm
It is
still
one.
he said he seen Debbie Does. You ain't seen motherfucking Debbie Does Dallas too young.
Probably fried green tomatoes. With the,
That was too young. That was some good life lessons in fried
it
green
was a
tomatoes.
lot. It was a lot to carry.
Scary as fuck, Ash. It was a lot to carry though. But I think I appreciated that one. The Shining. Hey, did you know The Shining was filmed not too close
Oh
from me?
yeah, right,
Not too
right.
close from me. Not too
Mhm.
far from me. I live pretty close there.
Actually, I think The
Freddie.
Color Purple was probably too much for me to.
That's what who said The Color Purple? I think it was New York said The Color
Yeah,
Purple. No, it was Ask Me. Ask Me said
yeah.
The Color
Color Purple
Purple.
had a
I don't
lot
know.
of adult themes that was heavy.
But Scream, you was
Yeah,
old by the time you
Scream.
seen Scream, Ash. Come on.
Because I was old, I wasn't that old, but I was old enough to.
Y'all might be around the same age. That's crazy. That's terrible. I hate that for me.
Requiem of a Dream with.
Oh, that was a good
I've never seen.
movie.
What is that?
I didn't see it too young, but it was a solid movie. That's a good
Was
movie
that in
right
the
there.
90s? Requiem of a Dream.
The actual mask, like mask with what's his name? Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
That
I
one?
didn't see that until I was in my 20s.
What was the one where he says, uh it was a serial killer one, Clementine or Claire Tine or
That was
fuck.
wasn't
Put,
that
puts the lotion in the basket type shit.
Beloved? Yes, that movie
I
scared the shit out of me, and I've never seen it.
Beloved was
I've
crazy.
never seen it. Once I feel like there was a certain part in that movie where I checked out as like a 10-year
It
old.
puts the lotion on its skin. Yeah, that's it.
I said the beloved
So-
beloved fucked me up. I didn't want to watch that movie no more. That was really scary, and I feel like no kids should have been watching that. Hannibal, I've never seen it.
and it was Hannibal.
I've never seen it.
And this is why I say I chose this question, y'all, because the intent in when you're watching that shit is not necessarily what you get, right? Like, but the impact is crazy when you see some shit you ain't supposed to see at an age you ain't supposed to see it.
Now, if you said
You know what I'm saying?
songs, that
Yeah, that's an even longer thing. But we're gonna move on to the next question. And the next question is, what seemingly small thing changed your life forever? I saw porn too young too. So you know what I saw too young? Fucking Eddie Murphy Raw.
ooh, that's a good one. What's seemingly
I shouldn't have
small
been
thing?
watching.
Having a
What
baby,
seemingly
that's a
small
big
thing,
thing. Is that what you're saying is small? That's a big thing.
it might have been a movie though.
Oh, having a baby.
I don't know. Was it a movie too?
Richard Pryor.
Yeah, Richard Pryor too. Richard Pryor. But that dude was funny though.
So okay, wait, ask the question again.
What seemingly small thing changed your life forever?
Okay, so I remember it had to
No, he said no, I
it
had
had
my
to have
son.
been in the third grade. I went down to visit my dad's parents, and my cousin was there. And we had like adjoining rooms, right? So I'm listening to her in this other room. She's bawling, crying, boom, but like banging on the wall and stuff. I don't know why. She was a weird child, but whatever. It's like, what's wrong? I'm just afraid my parents are gonna die. And that's the first time I ever thought about death in my life. And because I
Wow.
was like, why would she be afraid that her parents were gonna die? And then like,
And then you really started thinking about
mhm,
like mortality and stuff. That's
scared of death
crazy.
ever since.
Scared to death ever
Mm-hmm.
since. It's crazy what will impact you. And what's crazier is that was not her intent. Same
Mm-hmm.
shit. Ash says love is a verb. Hearing that love is a verb. It's not a noun, it's a verb. That is also impactful. Because if you embrace it as a verb and motherfuckers is out here talking about I love you and there's no action behind it, you think of it
Yeah.
differently. It's like, well, who are you and why? Don't come and shut your face hole. You know that hole that's on your face? Make it close. That
But
type shit.
also with Mr.
It
Phil,
made me a lot more intentional about showing it and making sure that a person knows through my actions.
but with Mr. No Chill said, having a baby, honestly, it does like
Hell
when you're
yeah.
a
It's not a
parent,
little
it
thing
doesn't
though.
seem like a little thing, but like when you're going through it, it does. In the grand scheme of things, having children just seems like the way that shit is supposed to go. It doesn't seem like this grandiose thing because everybody goes through it, right? Until you go through it, then it's like
Until you go
that
through it.
is that.
Ask me, baby, you do not have to get in camera, but please do come up and tell me about your 10th grade teacher. I would like
Oh
to hear the
yeah.
story. Because I'm about to tell my teacher story in a minute.
My parents divorced when I was 9. Went from upper middle class to experience in the ghetto for a while. Damn,
Ah.
that could be a lot too.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I don't know if that's little though. That's big
Big
as
as
fuck to
shit.
me. But I mean, I'm not shitting on your answer. Don't get me wrong. But that's the kind of thing that'll change anybody's life, right? Like, no, I don't care where you are, I don't care what you're doing, I don't care, you know what I'm saying? Especially at the age of 9,
Mm-hmm.
the impact of their decision and how your life changed had to
Even though,
have
even
also
though, no matter how
carried to this
good
day.
their intentions were, because obviously they didn't want to be with each other, so I mean, in some ways, they had to put themselves in front of you. Insofar as like, is it better for us to be apart than Yeah, I get that.
They didn't belong together.
Ooh, I
Yeah.
get that.
Honestly, okay, this didn't change my life forever, but fun story. And me and my ex-husband, for some that know, I was married for 19 years to a man. Um, Me and my ex-husband divorced. My youngest, a couple years after the divorce, said um, he was glad that me and his dad got a divorce. And I was like, what? First, at the very end of the divorce, maybe at the tail end, we hadn't actually signed the papers. It was like date was coming up. And my son was like, I just really wanted to tell you that I appreciate how you guys handled this whole situation. And in my head, I was like, yeah, you're welcome. Your dad was an asshole. But out loud, I said, make sure you tell your dad that because I'm sure he'd want to hear it. And then years later, right? Because going, like, I had to twat, right? But but years later, he said, "I'm glad you guys got a divorce." And I looked at him and I was like, "Why? What?" And I said, "Why would you say something like that?" He said, "Because I get to know you guys on a much more personal level now. Like I now know my dad, whereas my ex-husband was always around. It's not like he was in the streets, but he was to himself. He didn't talk much. But when he had to do one-on-ones with with our children, he had to come out of his shell with our children, and it gave them an opportunity to connect. And you never
To
know
understand
how
them.
things are, yeah, how things are supposed to be. Um,
And
but
you
that's
were
one of the things.
antics. I will say this from a child, literally, before I came on this stream, I was taking my blood pressure. It was 147 over
Mm,
107
mm,
because
mm.
I just got off the phone with my parents fighting. They've been doing it all my life. All my goddamn
Yes.
life. Stresses me out to this day. And every time they would say they would
And
get
that,
divorced, they wanted to get divorced, I'd be like, oh, thank God. They never did.
oh,
They never fucking did.
finally,
I'd
shat.
be like, oh, thank God. Y'all motherfuckers
I
don't
was
be
glad for the
smart.
peace, but I'm sure it was very, very impactful. Just like
Oh, yeah.
having a kid, I think, and sitting at the grown folks table, like Chill said. But also, Asmi said that her 10th grade teacher um taught her how to be a black woman.
Ooh.
That's
Yeah, I
that's
want to
what she
know
said.
about
I
that.
would love. I understand you can't.
Oh,
I know.
but on private.
I understand you can't get on camera right now, and look, I respect it. But one day we're gonna talk about that. My fifth grade teacher, and I'll never forget it. It was a very little thing, but it definitely changed my life forever. My fifth grade teacher scheduled a meeting with my mom and myself, and I thought I was gonna get in trouble because she was clearly irritated with me in class. You guys, she was clearly irritated with
This
me.
goddamn fee.
Um, God damn face, shut up. She was clearly like I could feel her energy. I knew she was. I knew. So I knew I was gonna get in trouble. And my mom, we sat down and are you still here? Yay, that's dope. That makes me feel so good. But what she said was, AD, thank you for joining. Welcome to my stream. As you know, we are doing impact and intention where we fuse deep conversation with lighthearted questions, or lighthearted conversations through curated questions. Um, no, no, no. Either rotate through the box or you
Yeah,
can just
yeah.
hang out for a minute because we're actually doing a show right now. But so this teacher, right? She scheduled this meeting and she said to my mother, she was like, um, she said, "Fee asked way too many questions. I can't get her to stop interrupting my show." Okay, cool, cool. She said, "By the way, I love that crown on you. It looks nice. It's
Who,
very
me?
fitting."
Oh,
Nah, AD's
I'm like,
crown.
damn.
Oh, that's
Girl,
cute too.
you
That's cute
not got
too.
into my stuff.
Uh, but she was like, "I can't get through my lesson." She just keeps asking, "I can't get through my lesson." She said, "So what I propose," and at the time, I lived on base, but my school was off base, and we were bused off base to this school. And so she said, "So you get 3 questions at the end of every lesson. You can't ask any questions during a subject. At the end, you get 3 questions. So write them down as I'm talking. If I don't get to the answers by the end of the fucking lesson, then you can ask 3. If you have more than 3, you have to stay after school." And she arranged for the bus, for a
Oh,
late
wow.
bus, to go on base.
That's awesome.
So she arranged for the regular bus to make an extra trip if I had to stay late. That said, I use that technique to this day.
3 questions.
She to this day, not necessarily 3 questions, but in a meeting, to this day, and I'm very successful in my career. I can say that with whatever. Um, to this day, in a meeting, I'm writing my questions down. I'm writing my points down. I'm saying what I gotta say. And when it's my turn, or when the conversation opens up, it might not be the end of the meeting, but when it's appropriate to do so, based on adult judgment, I'll ask the things that have not been
Hmm.
addressed. And it has gotten me far, not just in my career, but in future school years and in college years. Is that this? But are you gonna talk about? And they're like, "Bitch, that's been the next sentence. Let me get my sentence out.
Hush,
Shut
be
up."
quiet.
She also, she also was the reason why I went to the gifted and talented program the next year. But fun fact, gifted and talented was really just the handicapped kids. I ain't gonna. There was the short bus kids. I didn't ride the short bus per se,
It
but
was
they kept
like
us in a separate hallway.
handicap adjacent.
It was handicap adjacent.
Y'all want to know
But
who
they did.
made me appreciate being a woman?
I forgot to turn my shit on.
Who made me appreciate being
That
a black woman, ironically, was Tyra fucking Banks.
what?
Right, exactly.
Wouldn't have guessed
No,
that.
but listen,
Because Tyra
it's
Banks,
Tyra Banks. When
you
I
never know.
moved from Colorado to where I am now, it was just such a culture shock. I was very secluded, very much in the house all the time. That's the time
G and
that
T.
the Tyra Banks show was coming on. So I would watch the Tyra Banks show and I just be like, oh my gosh, she's like, you know, at that time she was personable and
Why
she
is
had a
she?
whole bunch of black people on her show. And I don't know. I swear to God, my best friend will tell you, I did not miss a Tyra Banks show. 4 o'clock Tyra Banks song, gotta get home. I gotta watch it right
Gotta
now.
get going. Gotta get going.
Like
But you know what? That's
like
beautiful.
now, I look at
Sometimes
Tyra and I'm like, you're a little weird. But at that time, she was indispensable to me. Like
I ain't gonna hold you. Her forehead always bothered me. I'm an aesthetics person.
I was just a representation type of person, right? Like it's just she as weird as she might be now, looking in hindsight, she really was. That's why I really think that representation
That's
is
true.
just so
It does
important
matter.
because
It
when you
matters.
see yourself in a person, I look at Tyson, and although she got a big ass forehead, I kind of got a big forehead too. But like I see this
Not like
right.
that. My forehead is my
No,
forehead is alright. I be covering my shit, but it's alright.
but I see this black woman that's making spaces, and at that time, like I can see how people can see that thing in Oprah. Like black women in those times could see that thing in Oprah. By that time, Oprah was big. Like I couldn't really, I mean, Tyra was big too, but
It was hard to
right,
relate.
Tyra was, tall and lanky, and she had her big forehead. She was a little bit funny looking, and I mean, honestly, and it was just kind of like, damn, that bitch can make it. Representation is beautiful just to see your vision of what you think is. Um,
Fuck Oprah.
yeah,
You
no,
get a
fuck
card.
Oprah.
You actually, how about you get a question and you get a question? I second that. I mean, I Gabster, thank you for joining. Welcome to my shit. As you know, we are doing depth and levity tonight, where we fuse deep conversation with funny banter using curated questions.
What's the
So,
next question?
all right, next question. Yeah, let's get to the next question. We're gonna go on the deep side today, y'all, or on this next one, y'all. Um, what is something that you thought you wanted? Excuse me. What is something you thought you wanted, but realized you didn't after you got it?
Hmm. Anybody want to come up to the box? Because I need to pick on that.
Yeah.
Hard on
Yeah, feel free
that.
to hop up. If you want to take a little break, Bubbles, you're welcome to. A girlfriend? Yo, that's fucking the great answer.
A
God damn.
girlfriend?
You came with it quick too. Hell
Wait a
yeah.
minute. So many people got these opinions.
Yeah,
I
that's
need
a
to
good
hear it.
answer. I
Hold
thought I
on.
wanted a girlfriend until I get this motherfucker. No, that's the best answer. I can't think of a better answer. Damn, Gabster. Yeah, no, that's probably there was a job that I thought I wanted that I ended up hating. Um, but that was because the question was, Miss Cognac, what is something you thought you wanted until you got it?
Mm,
And how this ties into, while everybody's thinking, how this ties into impact and intention is sometimes our intention is one thing. Like I intend to one day off grid.
my period.
Ooh, God willing, when I get off grid, I'm not
Yeah.
like this impact sucks. I can't get my 2-day packages.
You know what my serious thing is?
Oh,
What is
hold
your
on,
serious thing? You have to
hold on,
circle back.
hold on, because yeah, I gotta speak on that real quick. Um, a
Okay.
girlfriend. Okay, here's why. Here's why. For me,
Here's why.
I've been single for so long that I don't really know how to share space. Okay, And when you get in a relationship, they like to touch and move things around. You feel me? And also at the same time, what I also have noticed in the last couple of relationships that I really tried to be in is that women fall for the guy they see in me and don't truly see me. They see,
Ooh, you said a word. Say that part. Say that one more
they
time.
fall for the guy
Say
they
that. Cause I,
see in me if they don't see me. They don't see the walls that I put up to protect my emotions. They don't see the fact that only you can talk to me a certain type of way. Anybody else
yep.
try that shit, yo, I'm throwing hands because these hands are ready to eat for everybody. You feel me? They don't see the pain, the anxiety, anger, all the stuff that I bottle up so I could be a functioning person. You feel me?
Yeah.
See that. They see what I represent or what they want me to be. Okay? Because
You know what? I'm gonna speak to that real quick. The thing I think I say this all the time, right? I have zero problems with getting people or finding people who are interested in me whatsoever.
that's not a problem.
But what I don't, it's so easy. I mean, I ain't trying to be conceited, y'all, but there's a line. The problem it comes in when I want somebody to understand me.
Preach.
It's easy to get somebody to be interested. It's not easy to get somebody to understand. Go ahead.
So for me is that I find being vulnerable a weakness. And here's why. Because I feel people don't get to know me to know me. I feel like they get to know me for what I can do for them or what I'm able to take care of to take something off their plate. You feel me?
Yeah.
And as soon as I do something they don't like, they
Transactional love, right?
but and they won't be truthful with the fact that this is a transactional love. Like I would be a whole lot better if he told me that as long as I do A, B, and C, I can get one, two, and three. Because then it's a clear cut.
If it were actually transactional, if you could actually give line the shit up, then I can either agree or not
Right.
agree.
It makes so much more sense to me that way because then I can choose what the fuck I want to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm at a point now, fuck your love. I want your loyalty and respect. Okay.
Oh shit.
I don't need to be loved. Okay. Again, I'm medium ugly. I've been fighting for my whole life for a team. So I don't need to be loved. I want to be respected and I want your fucking loyalty. You feel me? Because loyalty is hard to fucking find. People throw love around like it's a fucking frisbee.
And you know what's funny? This is a perfect opportunity to point back out what fucking Ash said earlier in terms of what impacted her. Little thing that impacted her, which was love is a verb.
Fact.
Love is a verb. So yeah, if you listen, I can get somebody, I can get the next one and the next one and the next one. That's love's easy. Understand me.
That part. Like I'm trying to find somebody who I would be willing
Action, not words.
to choose you even though I'm mad at you. But that's a whole different thing. Okay? If I can't choose you when I'm mad at you, then I don't need to be with you. Or if I can't choose to do the right thing when I'm mad at you, don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be free.
What? Yes, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
Final
ma'am.
round.
I
Fight.
need three more of those, y'all, to beat my challenge if anybody's into it.
Game over.
So for
Player
me,
decision.
am I
Winner.
going to choose you when I'm mad at you and choose to do right? Or am I going to choose to hit the streets? Because sometimes the streets be calling. And I don't want to retire yet. Because when I retire, I'm
I
not,
don't want them to call again because
I'm not
when they start
love
calling,
me still. You feel me?
Got the spring frame. Oh, am I?
I know it's so pretty. I can still hear you though. Go
So
ahead,
what I was gonna say,
Bubble.
what? Okay, tell me the question again so that I choose my words carefully.
Sure, sure, sure. Um, Let me see where it was. Oh, what did you think you wanted, but you realized you didn't after you got it? And he was responding to the
Okay.
answer, um, of be having a girlfriend, and I could not agree.
Yeah, yeah.
I could not agree to agree with him more, but I'm gonna come back
Kind
to
of
it.
makes me change a little bit because I said I in my head I thought you had said what did you think that you needed but you actually didn't need, and I was gonna say for myself,
I mean, you can answer that.
I was
It's close
myself,
enough.
personally children. I thought only because I thought that it
Didn't
was
realize you took my fucking 900, bruh. That's crazy. Oh, look at that.
oh, but
Okay, I'm gonna stop talking.
I realized that that shit is much bigger than I thought that it was going to be. Than just wanting something. I feel like in parenthood, you have to not only want it, but like appreciate the journey that uh, comes with it. And
Well, I
huh?
that, that's something I learned from camping. Part of the journey is the
Yeah.
journey.
And that's the thing, and that's why I say something that I wanted but didn't necessarily need. I didn't need no fucking kids. I wanted them, and I love them so much, and I don't regret having. But I didn't need them because I needed something else on my journey at that point. I mean, it is what
Yeah.
it is, and I don't regret any part of it. But I think it's something, and that goes back to love. What Ash was saying
Yeah.
with love, and that you don't. I feel like at a young age, you don't really know how to um, understand love in a way that makes any sense other than for me it was if I have kids they'll love me and I'll love them unconditionally and it'll be
Ah,
me and you against the world, and that's not how that shit works. That's
that is not. It is not how
more
that works. It's
complicated
not.
than that.
But you know what? It is interesting how, and then we'll go back to the actual question. But it's interesting how, like for me, when I first held my son, the first son, because with the second son I already
Mm-hmm.
knew, I was. But when I held my first son, I said, "Damn, this is really what love
Mm.
feels like. Like this is actual. This is it. There's nothing, literally, like it was." And I was with the second one. I thought to myself, I was nervous before I had him because I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna love this dude as much. There's no way. There's no way I can muster that much love." And sure enough, I held this little dude and this little nigga, and I was like, "God damn, it's
Yeah,
possible." So
I think
love is on such a
yeah,
scale
having kids was
that
the first
like
time that I knew that love wasn't enough, and that love is actually a verb because love, like the feeling of love is not enough for me to sustain these children. I have to have
or any
right.
relationship.
I have to have the action of love. Like, what am I going to like? How? What are my how are my actions proving that I love these children? I might have so much love in my heart, but if
Right.
I'm doing like, I got to get my shit together to prove that I love them.
Honestly, it goes back to the girlfriend question or the girlfriend
Yeah,
answer. And for anyone who's jumping in right now, the question is, what did you think you wanted but realized you didn't want after you got it? And I think that I can, and just as much as the person can proclaim their love for me, also love them and not and decide, nah, I don't want them in my space. I love them as a person from the traditional definition of love, right?
yeah,
Um, I love them as a person. I have a vested interest in their being wonderful and achieving wonderful things, but I can't. I don't want to move in my Chargers and and
right.
I don't want to. I don't want to move in my chargers and putting my dishes in the wrong spot. I didn't even ask you to put my dishes away. Leave my dishes alone. Type shit. By the way, we are past due for a fee phenomenal reminder. Okay. And as today's topic is impact versus intent, the fee phenomenal reminder is a good intention with a bad approach
Mm.
often leads to a negative result. So if you want your impact to be positive, your approach has to be considered. And really that's the only thing that we can control what we and we can control our intention and we can control our delivery. But there's so many other factors in play. The factors are, among others, and name them if you can think of something I haven't. The factors are um, the other person's experience, the other person's day. Maybe they just ain't having a good day. The factors are the other person's trauma, not necessarily their experience. Maybe it's an actual trauma that they're burdened with. Maybe it's just um, you know, their attitude. Maybe it's their personality. Maybe they're just an innately negative person. Um, there's so many different
I have a
things.
question.
Once
Oh,
it
I'm sorry. No, go
Go ahead.
ahead.
No, I was gonna say once it leaves your lips, it's out of your
I was
hands.
watching a video. There was this young black woman that said a lot of people tell her that she's not nice. And she was like, yeah, I know. I'm not nice. I'm kind, but I'm not nice. I don't owe you.
Ooh,
Being nice is performative, and I don't owe you that. I owe you for being
okay.
kind. That really settled me.
I
I was
like this one. Wait, hold on. I'm writing this down right now. That I, I take something away from these fucking shows every time.
that really settled me because I was
Kind,
like, because to me, being nice and being kind is interchangeable. Like for me,
right? But no, it's really not. If you think of it in that context, it's really not.
being nice is performative, is what she said.
Let me ask you this: how does that play into impact or intent? I mean, I have an idea, and I'll elaborate, but I want to hear
I
yours
feel
first.
like it plays into impact because I feel like being nice in our current society is uh, that made me think more. That is being performative. That is what I want my impact to be. I want you to think of me of this nice, you know, Bubbles. You can ask her for anything, and she'll just,
Bubbles is bubbly. You know what I
she'll
mean?
just you don't have to ask for much, but it is performative, and in some ways I can call myself out on it. It's manipulative. I am manipulating people.
Oh, I love that accountability. Did y'all hear that? It's that. Is that accountability?
It is. Because honestly, is being nice not manipulative? Because you want people to see you a certain way in order for them to.
I mean, yeah. If you look at it like that, because I was just having this conversation the other day. For me, I don't know what the actual definition of manipulative is. I probably should have looked it up before I say this, but for me, to be manipulative is to God body. Thank you for the fave. If you anyone else who's in here just hanging out, if you have not hit the fave, go ahead and do it. I guess it's over here. Um, I am trying to get my faves up, so I appreciate any faves for anyone who's out there lurking. Oh, also, Gabster, I said when I get to smoke when I hit my goal, and I hit two goals,
Oh, I was like, did that?
but I didn't even know I had that. I didn't even know how close. I didn't know. I appreciate you, Gabster. But the right um but the definition of manipulative is if I am doing something with the intent of eliciting a certain
Mm-hmm.
response.
This is being nice.
If I'm yeah, that is by definition in my head. I didn't look it up. that is manipulative. That's the definition of manipulative. And as such, I try not to be, but at least that was the conversation I previously had. But based on what you just said, that might not be true. I may have to rethink whether or not I am manipulative. So I'm not gonna say it yet. I'm not as quick to take accountability probably as you were. Maybe you have some time to think about it. I don't know. But I'm gonna hold on. What's up, Chill?
Oh, I'm at work, and that's why you're in my pocket. You can't see me. I'm
Okay, no
disagreeing
worries.
with Bubbles, especially with the definition you gave, because in general, I am a nice person. And I'm a nice person because I feel that if I come and treat you with respect, I should get that in return. I'm not trying to be nice to you because I want something from you. Fuck no. If I don't got it, I don't need it, and I'll continue to move on. But
Okay.
that's how I feel. But I do feel that I'm only nice to people until I have a reason not. And that's because I feel that once you start being an ass and coming at me sideways with the stupid shit, I no longer owe you that common respect level of being nice. Because I grew up with the golden rule: do unto others as you want others to do unto you.
As you and others doing to you. And so if that's a theory that you live by, it's not necessarily you're not eliciting. I want to say with an E so bad.
Right.
A response, you're not from that specific person, more that you are defining who you are by your output.
That part. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So for me,
Okay.
if I'm being nice to you, to one, that's how I want you to treat me. Okay? Now, you
You're
know,
teaching people how to treat you.
right. And but if I really fuck with you, I kind of bully you. Like I talk shit to you, but I won't let somebody else talk shit to you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Okay,
a
but
common
okay.
type of love.
I mean, just for the sake of
Uh
argument,
huh.
because I don't know where I fall on this. That's why I said I'm gonna think about it.
Okay.
Just for the sake of argument, is that not the same in that you want the other party to be nice to you? So in that way, and not that it's necessarily a bad thing, but that you want, since you want them to be nice to you, you are being nice. And so you are trying to manipulate the relationship. Not necessarily a bad thing, but you want to impact how uh you want what they know to be your interactions. Like you're teaching them how to treat you.
In a way, I am teaching you how to treat me, but also in the same notion,
Why is that shit not lighting?
I am giving you the common courtesy I feel is deserved to me as well. Like, you
Okay.
don't have to like me to be nice.
Okay.
You don't have to like me.
What y'all think about that?
You feel me? Like, it's not that hard to be nice. Now, you can keep shit short. Hey, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, you kept it short. I ask you a question, you give me an answer. You keep it short. I'm not asking you what your favorite color is and do you want to go to the movies with me? Or I'm not telling you, hey, I'm going to 7-Eleven. Do you want something? No. Being commonly nice does not guarantee that we're going to have this friendship where we got matching best friend bracelets. The fuck?
You know you want to have matching best friend bracelets with me, chill. Don't
I'm
trip. Stop
down.
trying to
I'm
pretend.
down. I'll braid one. I'm down to learn how to braid again and braid us a matching print,
You gonna
right?
braid over what you
To let
did.
everybody know we locked in.
Type in Bubbles, type in the who that was, because I do like that. I do like that sort of concept, and I wanted T.O. Thank you for joining. Welcome to my shit. We are on some depth and levity show right now, episode 3, I believe. Might be episode 4. Um, and where we're talking about impact versus intent. And the question on the table is uh well, the question on the table was, the last question was, what do you think you wanted but realize what did you think you wanted, but realize you didn't once you got it. And I gotta say, we went around a little bit, but I the current thing is kindness versus niceness, and I gotta tell you, okay, please do, yeah. I gotta tell
Oh,
you,
I don't know the password. Sorry.
the I like the idea of being kind and not
Right.
nice. Conceptually, I can wrap my brain around that. I don't know if that'd be an easy transition for me
Mm-hmm.
realistically.
I think there's a difference
Um,
here, and here's where I kind of, and I agree with
chill.
Chill with what he said. Is That's why I think nice is being manipulative in a way, because I am showing you how I want you to treat me. But being kind for
It should keep
but
going
being
out.
kind for me is that even though you treat me a certain way, I in certain situations, keep in mind the field that I am and just the person that I am insofar as wanting the best for everybody. I'm still going to be kind to you, even though you didn't treat me how I taught you to treat me or how I extended that grace.
So even though you're setting the tone for the relationship, if they don't meet it, it's not that that's the goal. That's just I want to set the tone for the relationship. So therefore, it's not
Still going to
manipulative.
be kind because I think that kindness is needed in this world. Um, no matter how people treat you, especially in medicine, I think that's very important. So that's why I say that I can kind of be kind.
Kind and being nice, two different things. Hey, look, T.O. said exactly what they said. Well, who was it again that you said
It
that
was
shit?
somebody on TikTok. I'm gonna have to find it.
Oh, I don't know why I thought you had the name. I don't know why I
It was
thought you
somebody
gave it
on
already.
TikTok.
My bad, my bad. But that's what she's
But
saying,
yeah,
T.O. Is that to be kind and to be nice are two different things. And she said she's kind, but she's not nice necessarily because nice is performative. I don't I mean, sometimes nice comes naturally. What if I'm also nice? Like I think I'm a
kindness
nice
comes
person.
naturally. Niceness is something that is curated insofar as society see like this is the box that
What's up,
you
Mr.
need to
Bubbles?
put yourself in to be considered nice. Because nice people, it's just like birds fucking chirping around them and shit, and they just got this aura around them and shit. And
Ah,
that is
birds fucking
like
chirping around them
how
is
many
crazy,
people.
man.
But I seriously, how many people are actually nice, or versus how many people present themselves as nice to be manipulative, but you know them behind the scenes and they ain't really like that insofar as they talking shit. They talking.
Well, this is why I say what I say though, Bubbles. I think you can be nice and not be performative, but is it performative sometimes?
Yeah.
Yes. Kind is just kind. Nice can be
So you're saying
performative, but doesn't
kind
have
is
to be.
the aura around you of just like you just emulate.
Kind is based more in intention.
Okay. Versus.
We're nice.
Oh,
Right,
okay,
right,
okay.
right, right. Well, right, okay.
I like
Hey, yeah,
it.
you know what I'm saying? Full circle. I didn't mean to do that shit. I was just literally was the natural for the
Yeah.
conversation. But kind, I think, is the intention. If you're coming from a kind place, it's just kind. Nice, however, you are trying to influence the impact potentially,
Mm-hmm.
but you could also just it. I think it's like a car is a vehicle, but a vehicle isn't necessarily a
Right.
car. There are other things like nice is the overarching thing. That is nice doesn't necessarily mean kind. Kind is
Mm-hmm.
nice. That's how I think of it.
That's
Y'all ready for the next
yes.
question?
But
Okay.
I'm definitely
Y'all
gonna
want
send you
depth?
that TikTok because that really made me think. I was like,
Okay.
damn.
Kindness is a quality defined in a person's niceness, is a interpretation of that's extended to others. Ah, what? Listen,
Mm.
listen. If that doesn't directly correlate to impact and intention, I don't know what does. Kindness is more the intent, whereas niceness is the impact. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. All right, well, shit, goddamn. All right. Listen, um, that leads right in. I think that's a perfect opportunity for a fee phenomenal reminder. The fee phenomenal reminder at this time is we judge ourselves by our intent, but we judge others by their impact.
Mm.
So there is, based on that, there is room for evolution in both directions.
Because what are we talking about the other night?
So by
Humans are naturally hypocritical.
naturally hypocritical. So if the truth is that we judge ourselves by our intent, but we judge others by our impact, then the opportunity for evolution that is posed is for us to also evaluate and judge ourselves by the impact we cause others, and for us to evaluate and consider the other person's intent as well as their impact. Like the opportunity for growth is to evolve in either direction, whether we're talking impact or intent.
I feel like
That's the
I do
fee.
a good job on doing that with children, but not adults. Because kids, like
Mm,
this. I mean, it's everybody's first time here, but y'all really don't like when you really study child
it ain't my first time here.
but
Speak for
they don't know
yourself.
shit. Children are just like they learning everything. So I'm much more willing to give grace insofar as my impact to children than I am adults. And I think that's with
Fair, fair.
everybody.
But that goes back to the previous reminder, right? Which was the only way to know a person's intention is to ask them, and the only way to let a person know their impact is to tell them. And what we talked about at the very start of the stream, which is communication is
Mm-hmm.
key. And it's not even just communication, but it's comprehension. I think Antics kind of pointed that out.
What do you say? I feel that I was
You know what I
sent
mean?
back. Sent back to what?
Sent back as far as you said, it's everybody's first time here. It
Oh
ain't
yeah,
everybody's first time here.
that's true.
I've been here
No, I
before.
feel like this is my motherfucking first time here. I don't know what the fuck I'm
Ah,
doing.
she said, nah, I'm new to this. I'm new to this shit, man, yo. It's so funny because it's about to fee phenomenal reminder is gonna come up in 3 minutes. I'm gonna skip that one.
But
All right, so
yeah,
let's go on. Okay.
no, go ahead.
All right. We're gonna go on to our next question, and I'll let everybody pick. Are we going depth or are we going levity?
Is it the
Put a
last
one in the comments
question?
if you want. Nah, we probably got
Okay,
two more. We probably got
I choose
this one and another
levity.
one. Levity then? Okay. One in the comments for depth, two in the comments for levity.
Oh damn, I'm not seeing the comments.
At all? No chill said three.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna pick one in between. All right, we got one for depth. Now we need a tiebreaker since no chill picked
Okay, I'll
three.
go depth. I'll go depth. Let's go depth.
Are we going depth? All right. Um, describe the last time someone misread your intentions. Ooh, okay, shit. Even I should have my answers queued up, but I don't. I pick the questions based on the topic, but I try
Describe the
not to
last time.
pre-answer
Yeah,
them, y'all,
I
on
don't really want to.
purpose.
I don't know because it has.
Okay, well, don't pick that one.
But
Don't
it's
pick
the
that one.
one.
That's too
Okay,
deep.
it's not too deep.
Okay, well, go ahead. Let's go.
My brother. I'm not gonna go into his situation, but he said that I crossed my boundaries when it came to talking about his situation to family members, and I felt really hurt about that. And
Oh.
that's the last time this I felt like, because yeah.
Did you communicate your intentions?
To him.
Like when he said, yeah, when he said that, and you were like, well, did you say, you know, that wasn't my intention, or did you say, I really, and how did he receive that?
He just said that, well, okay, without going into too much.
Yeah, come back. We gotta dig in a little bit, yeah. Well, meanwhile, I'm trying to think of what mine was. I think misread my
But
intentions.
without
Oh, that's
going into
easy.
too much depth, my mother came to me with a concern about my brother, and said, you should talk to him. And I was like, okay, without saying that we had talked.
What the
Yeah,
topic was?
I'll try to bring it up. So I did, and we talked. We had a really good conversation, and I went back and
Oh.
yeah. So maybe
Elaborated on that conversation. Well, you know what?
elaborated in a way to where I felt like was helpful, but I guess
So many are coming to mind. Ooh, antics. I really hope you pop in the
yes,
box
please. But yeah,
because you've been having all of the good fuck comments, and it because people have bad community. Yes, they do. Yes, we do.
but that's what happened. But I felt like my communication was very clear. I did not say anything that went into depths of our conversation, but things that tied into our conversation that I thought that she should reflect on. That's what I thought, or
Yeah.
that's what I said. And because she reached out to him, he was automatic like, what did you do? I didn't do
What
nothing.
did you
I
do?
didn't do nothing. I just said, and I was very clear with what I said. I never went into depth, but I feel like my intentions are
Your impact did not line up with your
no,
intentions.
it didn't. So that was mine.
And this goes back to probably the first question, which is how important is it to validate misaligned impact? In that case, I think, um, and this is for anyone, right? Like, um, when you have impacted someone, or you you realize that someone's intent, the impact doesn't, even if you were the person that was impacted and you realize that the intent doesn't line up. It doesn't matter which side of the coin you're
Mm-hmm.
on. I think, from I don't know the right answers, y'all. I'm not trying to be like that. But this is from all of the videos I've watched, all of the articles I've read, um, some from renowned, whatever. And it rings true for me. And that is that the important there is to focus on the connection.
Mm-hmm.
The important thing there, oftentimes it's important to pause, and just be, in terms of matter of fact, be matter of fact on your intention, what your intention was, and be matter of fact on what the impact was to you if you were on the other side of the coin. What's up, antics?
Hi.
So I'm gonna finish my point, and then I want to hear what you got to say, right? But if you have, thank you for blessing my box, by the way. If you have a misaligned impact and intent, if if both people are truly focused on the connection, that the interpersonal connection, then a pause is important, because somebody who may had an impact they didn't intend to have, they're automatically going to fall into a shame, uh uh what do you call it, defensive mode. And if they fall into that shame and defensive mode, they're not going to be, one, um focused on the impact that they made, and two, um they're not going to be able to take the ownership of what that was. They're not going to be concerned about what it was, or have ownership of what it was because they're too busy in defensive mode. We as humans want to defend ourselves. So it's important that we separate, focus on the connection that we're trying to have, and then come back together with the reality of it. What do you got?
Okay, so my best friend, my youngest child, she's 14, and my best friend is like an aunt to her. Okay, she's known her for all her life. So she had picked her up from school one day. She picked her up from school. She didn't say anything to me about picking her up from school. I'm wondering where my daughter is at. Then she texts me late. She's like, "Oh, just letting you know, I picked her up. I thought I shot you a text, but it didn't go through." Okay, I let that slide. I'm like, okay, so when are you guys coming? She's like, we'll be there in a couple of hours. Okay, cool. Let it go. They didn't come back till several hours later. When she comes back, she drops off my daughter. I'm on my way out to the store. I ask her, you want anything from the store? I ask my daughter, you want anything from the store? I go to the store. I come back and she's on her way out. She's leaving. I'm like, okay, so I'll see you later. See you later. Bye, everything. My daughter goes into the bathroom. As my daughter goes into the bathroom, I hear a phone ring that don't know that I'm not used to, and in my daughter's room. So I go into my daughter's room and I see a brand new phone there. I answer the phone. My best friend had
Hmm.
bought my daughter
Hmm.
a new phone without saying anything to me about the phone. She hadn't asked me if it was okay to buy my daughter a phone.
And how old your
14.
daughter?
I called my best friend and I told her to come pick the phone up. You
Yeah.
did not ask me if it was cool for you to buy the phone. You didn't ask me. First of all, you violated me with the whole picking up of the situation. I let that slide. You just walked past me in my home and you didn't even, oh, I forgot to say anything about the phone. You didn't forget. How could you forget that you just bought an iPhone for her? You didn't forget that. You just left that out. And why are you buying a secret phone for my daughter? Oh, I'm just want to get her a phone so she can, be in contact with me or whatever. Me and her father had discussed her not having a phone because she had previously broken 6 phones this past year. So there was a reason why she didn't have a phone. It wasn't because we didn't want to give her a phone. There was a reason why she didn't have a phone. So for you to overstep that boundary, just
That's
who
overstepped
are
as
you?
fuck too.
Who are you?
Cause ain't no
Who are
right,
you? You
Bubbles.
that you that does you, oh, but yeah, I'm her aunt, and it's for her safety. I'm her mother, and I'm saying that right now, this is what's happening. She doesn't get to have a phone right now because she doesn't
Hmm.
respect having a phone. That's why she doesn't have the phone.
And I don't know
The
what
phone.
what story she told you, but
It ended up
whatever it is, you should have talked. Whatever it is, you should have talked to me first as the
as
adult in the
thank
situation.
you.
I don't care what your intentions are. Your impacts have fucked
Thank
up
you.
this
She saw it
situation.
as no, I was being wrong. Why am I acting that way? I'm acting
Okay,
different.
no chill.
And it's like, no, you definitely overstepped your boundaries and you're wrong. You're wrong.
Very wrong.
I'm her
Very wrong.
I'm her parent. I make those final decisions. You don't overstep my decisions and make those decisions for my child. That's very wrong of you.
At all.
That's very wrong of you and very disrespectful of you to do that. And she sees it as no, I was doing something nice for
No,
my
that's
child.
beyond
No, you're not
disrespectful.
doing something nice for my child because I didn't ask you to do this. And
You're actually doing something not nice for my child. And the reason I
you're
say
keeping
that
her.
is because if I have set a boundary in my household as a parent and make it, you give my child the impression that my boundary is not worth respecting, is not setting my child up for future success. Because what I'm doing as the person who has the highest interest in their, not saying you don't love my kid, but at the end of the day, you ain't feeding this motherfucker,
Right,
you're not clothing this motherfucker, you
exactly.
not
I
signing this
take care of
motherfucker
her.
up for school, you're not doing all of these stuff and things. And if you did, they be at your house. My point is, if you really want my child to succeed, then you would empower me to do what I feel that is right because I see
Teaching
them
my
round the
child that
clock.
there are consequences and repercussions to her actions.
I
You
have a lesson I'm going for
exactly,
here.
and you're
So
undermining
if
that.
you really
You're
want,
undermining that.
you're literally undermining that. But see, here's the thing. Okay, now I got to go into devil's advocate mode, right? No, I 100% agree with you though. That person might even get cut
She did
off
get cut off.
because a phone ain't no
She did
little
get cut
thing.
off.
Okay, okay, yeah. But because what?
Yes. It ended up in
Sorry.
a fight.
But at the same, yeah, for sure. But at the same time, when we look at those situations, it's one of those because the original question I asked, which is Born Fruit Goddess, thank you for joining. Welcome to my stream. We are in the middle of a Depth and Levity episode where we fuse deep conversation with funny banter using curated questions. Um, but if that situation happens and it something so serious like that, my thought is that impact is more important than intent. And I'm sorry, the original thought was my first question after which one's more important was how important is it to validate misaligned impact? And I think your scenario speaks to both of those too. One, I don't know that her intentions were misunderstood. Your intentions just honestly don't matter in that situation. I mean, honestly, not really. Or at least, right, you came
Because
back.
her reasoning was,
Right,
her
fuck
reasoning
your
is, oh
intentions.
well, because we live in New York and she does take the bus. We don't live far from her school, but she does take public transportation to school or whatever. But I'm securing the fact that she's okay. She's all, this is why I'm saying
Yeah,
I know that she's all right and she's well enough to do these things without the phone for now.
yeah, I trust that she could do X, Y, and Z. And the reason she doesn't have a phone
Like
is
I
because of
said,
her
her
previous,
previous
yeah, yeah, I have my,
taken
and
care
I don't have
of.
to justify to you because I'm grown.
Exactly. Me and her father have already discussed it, and we have said she's already gone through 6 phones in 1 year. This is unnecessary. She doesn't care.
And 1 year is
She doesn't
crazy.
care. She doesn't care. So at this point, she needs to
Also,
feel what it feels like to not have a phone. So that this way, when she
I
gets
think,
it, she will treat it better because she knows what it's like to not have one.
let me ask you a question. What would have happened if your friend said, you know what? I didn't realize I was going to have that impact. I apologize. I'll come get the phone right away and return it. Would that have changed things? If she would have acknowledged
It
the
would have.
impact?
I would because I told her, I told her, I called her and I said, come pick up the phone. And she came to my door and I told her, here, take your phone back. And she started arguing with me. It turned into a fight because she started arguing with me at my door and it led into a fist fight because she didn't want to leave. Yeah, it led into a
Really?
whole fist fight. Yeah, because she didn't want to leave from the door. Like, oh, you're just being extra, and I was like, oh, now you're being disrespectful in my house. Now you're being
That's what it sounds like,
now
Bubbles.
you're being whole disrespectful because this is my child. I take care of her. You don't take care of her. I take
Right. You don't get to make these
care of her. Make the
choices.
choices what goes
You
on
don't get
with
to
this
make
child.
these
I
choices.
don't care how long you've been in her life.
That's wild. I'm sorry. First of all, I will acknowledge the impact. Um, because losing a friend that
And
has been
we have been
around,
friends. I'm 43. We have been friends since I was 16 years old.
I,
The way
yeah, that's what she said, fist fight.
our friendship had to end, and it was really bad, and it was just like, but this was a person who was a constant boundary, breaker.
Oh,
And
okay. Yep, 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 yep.
I had
Hmm.
previously, you know, let this person break boundaries, and I had made excuses for her. Like, this is the type of person she is. I'll forgive her because this is the type of person she is. But I'll forgive her. Oh, that was unflattering. It's like when you get caught
And let me speak to what New York was saying at the end. People who are chronic boundary crossers,
Mhm.
they are not mindful of their impact ever. Or at least I shouldn't say in such absolutes. They are rarely, yeah, she said, does she have kids, New
Yeah,
York?
I'm curious.
Does her own kids? Because
Yeah.
that's important. She probably doesn't. My guess is she doesn't. But those people, see, she doesn't. Those people who are chronic boundary crossers typically do not have a concept of their impact. It's their word, or excuse me, their world, and no one
Yeah.
else's.
Because first of all, Antics, what you were saying with, you said you live in New York, in the public transit system. I was just talking about the other day. My daddy, granted, it was a long time ago, but he took me on a bus route once and expected me to learn. So kids are much more capable of what we think that they are. So I definitely think that you were right in saying, especially if she broke a couple of phones, you don't need another one. I wouldn't give my child another one.
Uh, She said six. She didn't even say a couple. She said six. This motherfucker is not finna get a
Oh,
phone. Nope. No, sir. And I would also add to the conversation, I would, damn, downtown Manhattan is nice too. Nah, I mean, it's
but
dangerous too,
nah,
but
downtown Manhattan is different from what it used to be.
it's not like regular New
Right.
York. You know what I mean? It's
Gonna be
you
all
better, you
right. She gonna
know
be
what
all right.
I mean? Yeah, all right, goddamn. She be all right. She better pay attention. I head on the swivel type shit. You broke six phones. Now it's your responsibility to have your head on the swivel. Like sometimes it's about that. I, and the other thing I'm gonna say is you don't forget, like you said, you don't forget that's iPhones are not
Mm.
cheap. And she got her iPhone. She didn't get her
That's
no
my
fucking
thing. I'm just
Huawei.
like, cause that's something I couldn't
It wasn't an
fathom
LG, nigga. It wasn't an
being
LG.
an adult and being like, don't tell your mama I got you this. Like, I don't fuck with kids outside of my own like that anyway. But
I used to
I
before I
can
had
understand
kids.
if you don't have kids, but you know, or being a part of her life for so long, that's pretty much, it can be an extension of her in some ways because she's had an impact on her life.
I mean, that's true, but impact. Listen, she did have an impact on the child's life. She had to have for that amount of time. But at the same time, I am still the parent. I don't give a fuck. And if you don't acknowledge the impact, not only that you're having to me, but to my child's overall well-being, because if my child doesn't see me as the authority figure I am intended to be as her parent, exactly. You didn't discuss it
Old
with
ass
me. You didn't.
iPhone
You
at
didn't.
14 with me.
Yeah, you got me fucked up. I am the sole like if she go do some fucked up shit,
But
they not coming for you for the bill. They
But
coming to
and
me.
it goes so much deeper than that, especially nowadays, because it goes so much deeper than having a phone to call somebody on or text somebody on. You're giving my child access to a lot, unknowingly to me, access to something that I
Not
told her
only
she
to
couldn't
me.
have access to. That's a whole internet outside. I told her she couldn't
And
go there.
without an apology, you got me fucked up. Yeah, without. And I'm not a fighter, but I might have ended
Like
up there.
in the old days, you got her a flip phone and shit. She can't do shit with that. She can't get on the internet with that. She can't watch YouTube with that. But iPhone, she got apps, she got internet, YouTube, all kind of shit at her desire. And you didn't discuss it with me? That's crazy. And
That's
then
crazy
not only
work.
that, who is the iCloud account under? Because you have to have an iCloud account if you're under a certain amount of age. So who was the iCloud account under? That's
It's under her own self, probably as an adult. She probably signed up her own self at eight, with saying her birthday was 18. That's what
yeah,
they do. That's just
yeah.
insane. And I'm sorry that's your experience, Antics, for real. That's not cool. And losing a friend of that long. I know you said that it was kind of something that you seen on the writing on the wall type thing, but either way, and she gonna argue with the
And
child
get
right
in a
there?
fist fight
What?
with me.
Ain't no way I would never speak to that person ever again in my life. I said I might cut him off. Now I know more. There is no chance in hell. And I'm not deleting and blocking you. I'm gonna rename you something real fucked up in my phone. So when I see a number come in, I know to fucking ignore that
Answer
shit.
in life. Bitch.
And never again answering like, I want to know it's you calling. You ain't got to pick up another phone. You ain't got to grab your friend phone to call me. No, I'm gonna see it's you. It's gonna be called "fuck this bitch." It's gonna be like fuck this bitch is calling.
Don't
Fuck
answer.
this bitch.
Block. Shit. Okay, you got.
All right, look, we got yeah, you're right. We got 10 minutes, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I know this is gonna open up some
Oh,
shit.
I know which question you gonna answer to, or you gonna ask to. Go ahead.
All right. So we ended on a light note, y'all, but it's not that light for some people. What artist's work was ruined for you because of the person behind the art? And I'm gonna let that sink in. I'm gonna
Took
ask
about
the
four
question one
minutes
more
in the
time.
box. God damn! I was hoping somebody would come up. I don't want to answer.
I know. You know what? I could still. The thing is, we'll talk about it afterwards. But I think
I
this
know
one
exactly who.
you might need a second to
I
think
know.
on too.
I know exactly.
Who's for you?
R.
Who is it?
Kelly,
Who is it?
hands
Really?
down. R. Kelly.
R. Kelly, hands down. Both of y'all say R. Kelly. Now I still fucks with R. Kelly. I'm not
That's
gonna hold you.
I,
Let me tell you why I fuck with R.
you.
Kelly.
This is gonna have to be a really good reason.
It's well, it's a
Oh, I
personal
know. I
reason.
know about the
It's a
personal
per.
reason. Yes, yes. Okay.
The personal reason is I was 17 when I went to my first R. Kelly concert, my only R. Kelly concert, and I was hoping to fuck him. I went wanting to get fucked. I went with that intention. Now I didn't watch all the stuff, and maybe if I watched it, I would feel
I
differently.
think the most important part is that you said you were 17. And he probably would have did it if he got the chance. That's the problem. Have you seen all this stuff going on?
But listen, oh, wait, it gets worse because I told you I'm gonna say that but this is a vulnerable thing. I didn't get fucked that night.
By somebody else.
I went,
Good God.
but I, no, I went and I went to I went to his hotel. I ended up with this, a third string crew.
This is why I have no sympathy, and I never will for these men that literally prey on children, and they do that.
I feel like I was just as much. I had my wits about me, and I was
Nobody will ever be able to convince me that a teenager has enough wits about them to be
a
with a
predator is
grown
a
ass
predator.
man.
I'm not saying I'm saying I was seeking the
Here's my thing.
situation.
Okay, so
I'm gonna tell you who mine is. Okay,
no,
go ahead. Go ahead.
have you been hearing about this thing with Shannon Sharp, right?
Oh shit, I
Anyway,
don't know.
Shannon Sharp was fucking
Nah,
with some white 19-year-old and doing like weird shit like race play and stuff. It's a whole thing. And
really? No, I didn't. I knew I didn't
it's
like
not
him though. I just said that the other day. I just finished saying I didn't like Shannon Sharp
it's
the other
not the
day.
point.
I was like, something about him is
It's
off to
not the
me.
point that you are. First of all, I think race play is weird. That's just something that I try not to kink shame, but race play is just fucking weird to me. So
That's one
I'll never
I really
understand
struggle
it.
with too.
But with
I struggle
you
with that
are
one myself.
50 some odd years old and you fooling with a 19-year-old, there's a reason why these men prey on seemingly their children.
They
Got
are
no
children.
sense
They
about
are
them.
children.
They don't have no sense. That's why they do it.
It's a control thing, antics. 100%.
They
It's
don't know
control.
better. That's why I will never. No, R. Kelly ain't never gonna get a pass from me. Cause it's absolutely
I'm not giving, whoa. I'm not giving him a
oh.
pass. In fact, yeah, let's be clear. I'm not giving him a pass. I am saying that it didn't ruin the
Oh yeah, it ruined the
music.
music for me. I can't listen to it.
The reason I have trouble listening to some songs because some songs he's really literally singing about his crimes, and that part is hard to get away from. But some of them still they're good. Like the one I yeah that was a struggle. I honestly, this is not nobody's gonna like this. This is a very unpopular opinion.
Oh, R. Kelly.
No, mine. R. Kelly's a popular opinion.
Oh, okay. Look, what's yours? Oh,
Chris Brown.
no, I agree with you. I have a hard time with him.
I mean, it should be banging. It's just irritating. But then I'm mad and but I like it. But also, fuck that
I agree
nigga,
with you. I
man.
have a hard time with Chris Brown because yeah. So that's not. I don't think it's an unpopular opinion. Actually,
I think it
he's
is.
selling out
I go in
stadiums.
so many women. I go in a lot of women's lives that are like Chris Brown. That's my baby daddy. I love that nigga. It baffles me. It
So wait,
just
you can't listen to his music.
I do,
I was about to
but
say,
I listen to all.
I have a hard time separating, like I have a hard time not listening to his music because,
Because it's good.
but so is R. Kelly's, and I don't have a problem not listening to him.
Well, that's because if you turn R. Kelly's music on, he literally says, "I'm sleeping with a child. I'm sleeping with a child. You know, I don't see nothing wrong." And you're like, it
That's
makes you
crazy,
feel
yeah.
creepy, right? Chris Brown is not like, "I beat bitches. I beat bitches." You know what I mean? Like if he was singing about like his fucked upness, it would be different. He's singing about stuff that easily distracts you because the R. Kelly's songs are bangers, but you can hear the crime.
You know who was my problematic fave though?
Who?
Erica Badu.
Who better girl? That's my
No,
bitch.
she's
You better
very
stop talking.
problematic, but I love her to death. You can't say nothing bad about Erica Badu to me. I'm like la 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 la.
La, 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 la. That's how ladies do. That's how women do with Chris Brown, and that part baffles me. Now I will fuck to some Chris Brown. No, I know.
Good night, Adam.
Not the bad. Good night, mommy. All right, listen. I think on that note, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up. Oh, it's on this side. I gotta remember. I gotta figure out how to flip the camera or something else. Um, this was such a good episode. I knew it would be. I'm not sure about the format yet. Stick around, let me know what you think, especially if you've been to previous shows. Um,
I actually liked it.
thank you, Z. Thank you. You like this
Yeah.
format?
I also
Okay.
like the
Okay.
well, no, I like this format better.
All right. We're gonna talk about it either way. I'm gonna say it at the end of the show because just in case you go about your day and do something else, time is the real currency, y'all. It's not really money. Thank you, Antics. Your contribution was invaluable. I appreciate your commentary and you know what I'm saying, your
And thank you.
presence. Z, as always, love you. Chill. Everybody came through Gapster. Whether you're here or you have left, your energy still remains. And as such, I am grateful because time is the real currency and you spent it here with me tonight. So I'm not into my stream, but I got to get that out because um, it's a message that I think is important. We don't know the balance. And I'll say the same shit over and over again. And I know people gonna get tired of hearing me say it, but you don't know the balance.
That's the shit you
It's the only currency it's the only commodity. You can't check the value. You can't check how many beans you got left. And yet you steady fucking giving out beans.
Ooh,
That person, this hobby, that hobby. Work.
hold on. I'm gonna say my favorite quote from Hamilton. Do you know Hamilton?
Yes. But go ahead. I don't know the
Death
quote.
doesn't discriminate between the sinners and the saints. It takes and it takes and it takes. And we keep living anyway. We rise and we fall and we break and we make our mistakes. And if there's a reason you're still alive when everyone who has loved you has died, you should be willing to wait for it. Because it's important.
Right? Wait a minute. I thought that was really good, and I didn't expect it to be so powerful. Can you say it one more time? You can get in a regular box now at this point if
Oh
you
yeah, let
like.
me get in the
Right. But I didn't. Yeah, did y'all see that coming? 'Cause I didn't see that coming. What? fuck? That shit was deeper than I anticipated. Okay, go ahead. Wait.
Sleep on Hamilton so much. But anyway, he says death does not discriminate between the sinners and the saints. It takes and it takes and it takes. And we keep living anyway. We rise and we fall and we break and we make our mistakes. Death is going to come anyway. Just we keep living anyway, as we should. And
As you should.
as as impactful as we should, and just going about our day. We know this shit's gonna take us one day, but shit, it takes everybody, and we
It takes everybody. It's not discriminatory. And then what my man Ti said, anybody that told you any difference a lie. Anybody who told you death ain't gonna get them, or that they that it's discriminatory, or that they're immune to it, or any of that shit, they lying. It don't give a
we gotta
fuck. You better live
right,
your
we
life.
gotta keep living anyway, no matter what
We gotta keep living
rises and the
anyway.
falls. It's gonna happen. We got this. Ain't shit gonna.
We got this though. And you know why? But see, this is why I am enjoying the whole fucking depth and levity thing, is because it's giving me an opportunity to evolve, not just on tagged, but I tell you this all the time, Bubbles, is I use this to like do people research. I think my personal interpersonal personal skills and development have definitely come from looking at people as a problem to solve.
Mm.
Um,
Do you think people are a problem to solve, or is just a so, something to appreciate and sit in and just kind of marvel in, insofar as there's so much depth and so much that goes on with people. I could Wesley would have or Mr. Bubbles would have a bigger word, but I'm anyway. There's just so much about people that is so interesting, and for me, that's what I love.
you find them fascinating. Now, I definitely feel like they're a problem to solve. And by that, I don't mean like a single problem. I mean a collection of problems. People are like an infinite final exam.
Yeah, they are.
Like, right, like every little bit. Like, do um why do I one of the questions that we had earlier was, and Gab gave the fucking perfect answer. I'm just glad you're still in here, because I'm about to pull your shit out the hat, which is, what's something I wanted until I got it, and then I ain't want it no more. And she said, girlfriend,
Mhm.
why do I find that like um people move in certain ways? For example, I said about the chargers. I hate when people move my fucking chargers. There's three things in particular. It's chargers, chapstick, and nail clippers. I don't know why those three things, but my nervous system's gonna be out of whack if you fuck with one of
Mhm.
those. So that's why do I trip? But also, what would make somebody move those things?
I well, because I mean, people pick stuff up and then they just put stuff down and they don't really, think about the impact that it makes on other people, because it don't need
Because not everybody think
right.
the same. You
Everybody
know what I
don't.
mean? But I mean, that's a small example. A bigger example is, what would make somebody, you go into the office every day, which I don't do, but when I did go into the, you're such a weird dog. When I did go into the office, I wish I could, I guess I could show you, but she's just, if as soon as I move, she's gonna not do that anymore. Um, when you go into the office every day, there's that one coworker that's like, hi, hi, hi. Like, why is that person so eager? Why is what
I
motivates?
think what's so interesting about human being is that I would say 70% of the way that we respond to the world around us has to do with trauma. Like some kind of trauma.
I think that can be
But like,
true, but I struggle with the number because I think sometimes we're ready to settle on trauma when it can just be experience. Mont, thank you for joining. Welcome to my stream.
but isn't, a lot of experiences because okay, so you reference the coworker that's like, hi, it goes back to the nice kind of thing.
The nice versus
Yeah, and
kind. Yeah.
being kind of manipulative in a way of I'm treating you this way because I want so much to be treated like this way because maybe I'm lacking something. I wasn't treated this way as a child, and I'm just trying to project all this nicety on these people.
But I think that that's a possibility,
Mm-hmm.
sure. The other possibility doesn't get enough credit is that they've learned, which is experience over
Mm-hmm.
trauma. They've learned that when they do that, just learn through it, through like habitual learning, like Pavlov
Hierarchy of needs.
Pavlov's dog, right?
Yeah.
Pavlov's dog. That I can't say the guy's name. Um,
Oh yeah, I know what
you,
you're talking
you
about.
learned
Yeah,
over
yeah.
Pavlov, the
Mm-hmm.
dog situation. Um, you've learned over a period of time that when the more you that this action gets this behavior.
But
And
it's
so, oh,
not.
hi, gets you, there's pizza in the break room, gets you, hey, you open to a new project? Gets you, like, not necessarily that you're basing your, like, and I'm not, this is just that one person, this random non-existent person. I don't even know this person doesn't exist in my life. Um, but that person, hi. It could be an experience and it could be a
Mm-hmm.
trauma. Um, and I think that because we as um humans sometimes default to trauma, we're focused sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes we're focused on what negative has happened to us in the
Mm-hmm.
past. Whereas there really are things that have been positive that also influence us.
That's true.
Like,
I'm trying to think of things that are positive that have like
well, I'll give you
okay.
one. Um, my boys. It's the easiest answer. Because of my experience as a parent, I think I can embrace and have empathy for other parents differently than if I didn't have them. And that's a high level thing, but
That's not trauma. I feel like toddlers are just trauma. Not infants.
toddlers in general are just, whew,
Toddlers are like, girl, I fucking feel
jeez
you.
Louise.
I remember one time I was on a plane with my earphones in, and this baby was going off, and the parents like, "I'm so sorry." I was like, "Girl, I am not worried about your baby."
Ain't
She's
nobody worried about your baby. You don't
worried
even
about
know.
something.
You don't even
Yeah,
know.
that was something positive. It was just something that didn't impact me because of some of my experience.
Of technically some
Yeah,
positive shit. Even though I don't know if your baby crying is positive, but having a baby, right, is positive, and that's a good example of, like, or it can be positive, but that's a good example of that. Like, another another thing that I think that I treat my vehicle differently. I know this is so stupid, but it's still whatever. It's
yeah.
my thing. Like, one of my behaviors is how I baby my
Mm-hmm.
vehicle. I don't even go nowhere really. I work from home and I don't got too many weekend activities outside of my crib unless I'm going camping. That said, it's a behavior that I do, and I do it because My positive experience was that I worked very hard to be able to get the vehicle that I
Hmm.
have. Like it's a somewhat of a trophy for
Yeah,
me.
and you want to keep that.
And
Yeah.
it's a positive experience and it impacts my behavior.
Mhm.
In fact, it really impact. Don't get in my car and slam the door. That's impacting my behavior. It's not because something, you know what I mean? Just, you know what I mean? I'm real overprotective about my
Yeah.
vehicle. It's not because of something that happened back in the day. I'm not, but I will buck up on your ass behind my truck.
And for me, it's quite the opposite because now that I have another car, a new car, a lot of the reason why I react the way that I do with messiness and disrespect is because of said messiness and disrespect from past vehicles that I'm like, oh no, that shit ain't gonna fly around here. We ain't doing that this time. I was way too
See,
overwhelmed.
so
Yeah.
this is exactly my point. That was so perfect because the same fucking behavior
Mm-hmm.
can come from a positive experience as that same behavior can also come from a negative, the same behavior. And we always assume it came from something traumatic in our past, but sometimes it came from something very positive in our
Right.
past. And so the opportunity exists for us to also note those things and give those things some energy too.
That's good. Because
Because
I think in American society, especially black culture, or
especially Black
it,
culture.
it's I don't want to I don't know how to say it. It's embedded in suffering. Like you have to suffer to come out of it. Like you y'all just
We
don't,
must
right, y'all just
persevere
don't get
type
shit
shit.
easily. Like you gonna have to go through the trenches and go through this and this and this to get shit easily.
Oh, man, I thought I'd shut this off. Hold up.